Now, once again, welcome to everyone. So today we are discussing about auditing exam tips and strategies to IPCC inter students. Now we are going to discuss something called today very core subject we are discussing. So work hard, dear friends. That one day your signature will be called as audited financial statements. Definitely everybody can become a chartered accountant. There is no hard and fast rules to this course. Now everybody can have a goal, have a target, have a vision. So please dedicatedly prepare for your examination. Once you written the exam, don't look back. Don't see the results also. I am the person who never seen my results on the declaration day. I am just going to next day. I am seeing my results. I have passed the examination. Because now when I performed well in examination, there is no looking back. Now let us move on to the core discussion. Key phrases to be written in examination. Now this is one thing I wanted to share with every one of you friends. Now, yeah. Now, there are some fundamental points which everyone know they are just ignoring in the examination. That's called, I can say, auditing grammar. So when you're writing auditing examination, you should write the grammar. When you're writing information technology examination, you should write information technology grammar. Now that is the fundamental things what you should remember and you should write. That is the key words you can write in the examination. Now I have seen many people, many students who are facing a problem here, and they could not able to understand where can I use these key points in the examination, where can I use these keywords in the examination. So there are some keywords which you know, but you don't know where to write in examination. For what kind of questions I should write in examination. Now that is the core discussion. Now maybe you know the meaning for all these things, but for understanding purpose, once again I am going to tell how we can understand some of the key concept and key phrases to be written in examination. Now let us move on to the keywords what is written in examination. Mr. Manikanta, don't operate my screen. Now first phrase, analytical procedures. Now let me keep this at top. Yeah, analytical procedures. Now I am not talking about auditing subject. I am not teaching auditing subject to you. Please understand, my intention is where a student should quote analytical procedures in examination, where I should write this, where I should double underline this, where I should write and I should keep it in double quotation. That's what main core discussion. I am not the person who interested to explain the auditing subject to you now. This is not right time. But my main intention is the students are missing a flow in writing examination where they can keep this word in examination. For which question I can keep this? You know very well, just now we have gone through with auditing standards. Analytical procedures means definitely we are going to give reference to standard number 520. 520. But where should I write in between when questions are asked about when you're whenever you are writing, every time you cannot write comparisons, doing something, reconciliation and all. Whenever you are writing something in the examination. Now I given at the application examination, I given at the end. You can see, everybody can see my screen. I think my screen is visible to all participants. Analytical procedures. Where you can write in examination. Application exam. Where should I apply this key phrase in examination? That is what the core discussion. Sir, please understand, whenever you are writing the answer in examination, that auditor wishes to compare something or do cross-checking or do reconciliation, whenever you are supposed to write these kind of words in examination, please write analytical procedures. Highlight this point. Whenever you are supposed to write in examination, comparison, cross-checking, reconciliation, all these keywords you are writing in examination, there please write analytical procedures. Now for your understanding purpose, the analytical procedures is nothing but comparisons. Comparison between the financial management, financial statements given by the management and auditor expectation. I give an example also for your understanding purpose. So I am not given only where to apply in examination. I also given the meaning for the words for your quick reference in examination. For the examination purpose, you can refer all these things for examination purpose, friends. I request every one of you, please mute yourself and please support. Next, very, very important and keyword for examination. I don't know how many people are writing. So please, kind request, please mute yourself. Or give me 1 minute of time. I'll do one thing. Yeah. Professional judgment and experience. Now, without writing this phrase, you cannot complete an auditing exam at all. I can say very, very confidently. Without writing this phrase, there is no point of writing exam, auditing exam. You take up any examination, you bring any paper to me. I'll show where this phrase is given. Some answer for some question for writing in examination, whenever you write some answers, definitely you are going to phrase this. What is the professional judgment? It is auditor matter. It is auditor judgment. So you think you are something, you know about the judge, how they're going to give judgment in the court. Based on the facts, based on the evidences they collected, the judge is going to give judgment. In the similar way, as the auditor, based on the facts, based on the evidences I have collected, I may be deciding something in my mind. It may be based on my experience, based on my skill, based on my knowledge. Now, where should I apply this in examination? That is the point now. Please understand. I give an example also. The judgment I am going to exercise when I am fixing materiality concept. Nature, timing, extent of audit procedures. I'll come to this point. We have that phrase also. So where should I apply this professional judgment and experience of the auditor in examination? Where should I double underline this point? Where should I write this point in examination? For what type of questions I should write? I should write this phrase in examination wherever there is a, you are writing something called subjective answers. There is nothing objective. This is nothing decided matters. When your auditor decides on his own, please keep this in mind. When your auditor decides on his own, when I'm doing something on my own, it is my judgment. When you are following the standards in auditing, it is not your judgment. Please understand. Because standard already given, you are following the standard. If standard says something, then if you are following something, it is judgment. Now, professional judgment will be keep on changing from person to person. Now, I may be having one judgment in my mind. Maybe Mr. Kiribhushan may be having some other judgment. Maybe Mr. Teja may be having some other judgment. As auditor, it is based on their own parameters. In the examination, when the question comes, no, whenever you are writing the answer in examination, while writing subjective answers, auditor is not clear about this. Auditor is going to make some assumptions. Assumptions always based on my own judgment. On that case, you can write this in examination. Professional judgment and experience. It is based on professional judgment of auditor. Now, it may be useful for why I am discussing all these things in the particular session. It may be useful for your MCQ questions also. Auditor is required to exercise this professional judgment at the beginning of the audit, at the end of the audit, throughout the audit. Option may be given in the MCQ questions. Yes, professional judgment I have to exercise throughout the audit. There is no concept doing at beginning, ending, and all. I'm going to, the moment I am going to start the audit, I'm going to start the professional judgment. From that time, I'm going to conclude. Throughout the audit, I'm going to apply this concept. So, one line summary of entire discussion. The professional judgment and experience of the auditor is auditor own mindset, own thought process, own assumptions. Writing examination, whenever there is subjective matter, subjective answers, then you can consider this and you can write. When your auditor is feels that, when our auditor decided that, when your auditor plans that, he can exercise professional judgment. Now, example, exercising professional judgment, planning and performing an audit. Planning is my own plan. There is a standard. SA 300 is standard. Go and read SA 300, planning and audit of financial statements. But in the go and read the standard number 300, 300 says planning of audit is a professional judgment of auditor. Example, I may be taking some Infosys company. It is my plan. I will decide how many days I should do the audit. It is based on my own staff, my own resources, then my own number of days I am going to spend. It is on my judgment. So this word you can use in examination when writing the subjective answers. Let's move on to the next important key phrase, professional skepticism. Very simple auditor questioning mind. Whenever you are supposed to write an examination, the questioning mind or maintaining the alertness of the auditor, you can use this phrase. I given at the end of the point, application examination, to be used in examination while answering on auditor's approach, auditor's attitude. So auditors way of behaving in the auditor client premises. So the way I am going to ask the questions, the way I am going to make inquiries, you go and read as standard number 500. What are the methods of getting audit evidences they given? My professional skepticism. So whenever you're writing something regarding auditor's approach, auditor's attitude and all, then you can use this word in your answer, professional skepticism. These are the key point. Without writing these points, no, then there is no point of writing your auditing exam. Please understand. All these are fundamentals again. You have read all these in SA 200, overall objectives of independent auditor to conduct an audit in accordance with the standards in auditing. They're given in the standard itself, but we are missing. Then coming into applicable financial reporting framework. Wherever you are supposed to quote in the answer, while answering on financial items, you are going to write, there is something called CI IPCC watching and verification chapter, then something called for CA enter audit items of financial statements. So when I'm writing answer for these type of questions, definitely somewhere you are going to apply this applicable financial reporting framework. This is regarding preparation of financial statements. So auditor is going to check whether financial statements are prepared as per applicable financial reporting framework. An example I have given here, accounting standards, Ind AS, Schedule 3 of the Companies Act. It is a management perspective. It is a management responsibility to prepare the financial statements. When you are preparing, yes, whether management prepare these financial statements as per applicable financial reporting framework, I am going to check. Now, what is your job while writing auditing exam? While answering on financial items, maybe I given the reference, maybe watching chapter, maybe audit of financial statements, any accounting treatment or disclosure of any transactions, balances, definitely you can quote this key point and double underline this point. I hope this is crystal clear to all students. Next, materiality. Materiality is something called auditor concept. Now, this is what I said, management concept. See how you should read auditing subject? You should read in two perspectives. Whenever you are taken up the concept, whether I am going to read this particular topic based on auditor perspective or management perspective. That's all. You can understand the subject in a very easy way. So don't read the subject plain reading, something called plain reading. You don't have any plan and you don't have concepts understanding. Just like that you're reading and you're mugging up, you're going for examination. No. Please understand. So like that is a management concept. This is auditor concept. Materiality concept is auditor concept. Fundamental concept in auditing. So one line answer for this materiality is significant or important. Where should I write this in examination? While answering in audit examination, whenever you are going to write something called planning is a auditor's materiality concept. Execution or reporting. I given the meaning for materiality. It is significant or important. Then I given the meaning for material items, which is going to change the decision making of financial users. So this is the keyword you can use in examination while answering to the planning, execution, or reporting. At the planning stage, I should decide about materiality. At the execution stage, I should decide about the materiality. At the reporting stage, also I should decide about materiality. Then coming into material misstatements, very, very important phrase. Now we have seen the materiality concept. One line summary. If something which is going to influence the decision making decisions of users is called materiality, which is significant. Example I can give. There is a one transaction which is not recorded in the books of accounts. Maybe 500 rupees transaction not recorded for a 100 crores turnover business. For a 100 crore turnover business, 100 rupees entry or 500 rupees entry not recorded in books. Is it going to influence the decision of the users? Not at all. So it is not a material. Now I'm going to give another example. Same for 100 crores business, one asset having value of some 50 lakh rupees. They have purchased on 31st March. 50 lakh rupees asset have been purchased. They have not recorded in the books of accounts. for same 100 crores business. Is it a material? Definitely, because it is significant. 100 rupees, 500 rupees, not a significant. Now, next phrase is material misstatement. So whenever you are reading the auditing phrases, please divide and read. Please divide. How can I read this? Now, please forget about the word material. Now read misstatement. Forget about the word miss. Read statement. Statement means what? Stating something. That means I am disclosing something. I am presenting something. What is misstatement? Wrongly presented. This is the way you should understand about auditing subject. Don't mug up. Material misstatements. Divide the word. Material keep side. Misstatement divided into misstatement. Statement means what? Presentation, disclosure. Very good, I understand. Misstatement means wrongly presented, wrongly disclosed. Now, when it is going to become material, come back. Come back. When something it is significant is called material. Now we can read now. Incorrect amount, classification, presentation, or disclosure. Now, when it is going to become material? When material misstatements impact the opinion of auditors, it will be material misstatement. Example I have given here. If financial statements are free from material misstatements, then auditor may give clear report. When the financial statements are not free from material misstatements, then auditor may decide to give other than clean report. Now, this is only meaning I am explaining. Where should I write this in examination? That is what the key point. Sir, where should I write this material misstatement examination? To be used as a phrase in many auditing answers, especially when you are writing SA 500 series, where auditor obtains evidence to identify whether the financial statements are free from material misstatements. Now, when you are writing SA 500 series of standards, now evidence can be obtained by the auditor to ensure that the financial statements are free from material misstatements. You can keep this word in examination. Definitely, you are going to score the marks, friends. Now, coming into another key important key point. Key phrases, what is right in examination? Withdraw from the engagement after fulfilling legal obligations. Please understand, friends. This is the key point you are going to write in the examination. What is the withdraw? Resign from the audit. When you are going to write this in an examination, whenever management restricted the scope of auditor. Now, I am not talking about question, I am talking about answers. Whenever you are going to write the answer, like management restricted the auditor scope, auditor authority, and the management is not permitting the auditor to perform the procedures, then you can use this word and you can keep it in double quotation, underline this. Withdraw from the engagement after fulfilling legal obligations. Whenever you want to resign, just like that, you cannot resign for the audit. There are some legal obligations which you should follow. So when you can withdraw from the engagement, when the management restricted the auditor scope, when management is not permitting the auditor to perform the procedures. So what is the not to permit the perform the procedure? I'll give a classical example to you. There is one standard called standard number 505, external confirmation. Now I am the auditor, I asked the management, now I am going to get the external confirmation, please give the list of your debtors and creditors and bankers. Management says, sir, we have 10 debtors. I'll give 8 debtors list, 2 debtors I will not give. I'll give 8 debtors. Why? Because I want to perform the procedure. What procedure? I am going to obtain the external confirmation. Management says, sir, 10 debtors are there, 2 debtors I will not give the list. You please complete the audit. When he's not permitting me to perform the procedures, then it is a completely restriction. What is the alternative available to you? No alternative. Withdraw from the engagement after fulfilling legal obligations. Now let us move on to the next area, friends. Very, very important. We also have a standard for this. Discuss the matters with those charged with governance. So when should I write this in examination? What is the meaning, first of all? What is the governance? What is the management? So discussing is nothing but having a word with the top level management. Those charged with the governance is nothing but top level management, board of directors, audit committee, who is accountable for the entity, who is responsible for the entity if something happens, who is having responsibility to prepare the financial statements, who is responsible to coordinate with the auditors, to provide all necessary information to the auditor. Sir, that I know we know. In examination, where should I apply? That is the point we are discussing now. One of the most frequently used phrase, whenever there is an evidence that does not tally. What is evidence does not tally? Evidence is not matching. Bank statement they are given 31st March we have 100 transactions, but bank statement have end up with the 90 transactions, last 10 transactions, bank statement not given. Even we are facing this problem every time when you are doing tax audits. So go and discuss. When you got the external confirmation from the bank, see, when does not tally means I have to compare two things. So when I'm comparing this bank statement, external confirmation, banker has given one bank statement where the balance is 100 rupees. And management has given one bank statement where balance is 70 rupees. Evidence not tally, then what is the remedy available to auditor? Go and discuss with the management. Or lower management is not cooperating. You went to the audit. Manager is not responding, staff not responding. Whenever you go to the audit, they will tell, sir, tomorrow we'll see, sir. Day after tomorrow we'll see, sir. Sir, no, sir. We don't have any facility here. Please understand. You don't have any other alternate. Go and discuss with those charged with the governance. That is called management, board of directors. Or one more example you are given. Significant observation you have made. Sir, there is internal control weakness. Significant observation you have made, which have a material impact. Friends, please. When there is something called significant observation, it is something have a financial statements are not free from material misstatements. That means what is the positive way? Negative way is financial statements are not free from material misstatements is a negative sentence. What is the positive sentence? Financial statements are reflecting true and fair view is the positive sentence. Chalo. Please understand. I hope everyone is able to understand whatever I am discussing now. Now, just I am giving one revision to you where our important points are there, so that no straight away confidence. Auditing exam directly we are going and writing. That's all. No more preparation. I will definitely ensure that you are going to get very good marks. Next, moving on to next area of discussion. Audit documentation working paper. Sir, where should I write this in exam? This and all you know. Standard number 230. Audit documentation. Yes, you remember the phrase. You written the standard everything. Where should I write this? When you are writing something called supporting papers, supporting points, and evidences, then you can keep this point in the answer. Audit documentation working papers. It is nothing but evidences. Wherever auditor is going to obtain the evidences, then no, this is the phrase where we can use in the examination. Now, one thing I can understand, friends, this and all already you know. I am not talking anything new here. Please understand. This and already you know. But only problem is where to present in the examination is the problem. Now, this we can present in the examination. Wherever evidence have been collected, wherever evidence have been discussed with the management, that auditor should document. Then you can write audit documentation working papers. Please keep it in double quotation. Please double underline. Next, coming into assertions. I am sure that many students does not know meaning of the assertion. I am very sure. Very simple, friends. Very simple. We have discussed something called professional judgment of auditor. Assertion is management judgment. Example I will give. Management says, sir, we have a building. Building value may be 50 lakh rupees. What is the 50 lakh rupees? Management judgment. Management is giving explanation to me. These assertions, they can be explained on for balance sheet items, profit and loss account items, maybe notes to accounts. Whenever management explain regarding financial statement items is an assertion. They are giving their own judgment. I have my own judgment. I am a professional auditor. I am a professional chartered accountant. I have something called professional judgment of auditor. I'll use my own professional judgment. I use my own assumptions. Something required, I'll go to standard number 620. I'll go to expert opinion. Yes. Valuation is not my part, right? Valuation of building. You are telling that we are building value is 50 lakh rupees. If I agreed, then there is no problem. What management, for what management can give assertions? Assertions regarding transactions recorded in the books of accounts, closing balances, disclosures. Transactions is nothing but a profit and loss of items. Balances are carried forward only in the balance sheet, and disclosures to notes to accounts. Over. Beautiful. That's all. Now, whenever you are writing an examination, auditor, they explained everything to auditor. Sir, this is the value, building value 50 lakh rupees. Then there is something called gratuity valuation. So everything that you are discussing now, please read this. Management assets. Assets means they're giving their own judgment. That is their calculation, their own preparation, their own computations. Okay, give whatever you want to give. Financial statements are correct. Don't say you financial statement correct. I am the person, I am going to check. With regard to existence of assets, correctness of assets, liabilities, transactions, completeness of information, sir, whatever the financial prepared is complete, sir. In the financial statements, rights and obligations at the point of time, appropriate valuation, allocation, presentation. You tell your stories, I will listen. That's what the auditing basic meaning. It is derived from the Latin word audire, which means listen. I will listen. Maybe coming in objective questions, auditing is a word derived from the Latin word, Japanese word, some different words. Audire means to listen. I will listen, you say whatever you want to say. When you are saying it is your assertion, let me do my job. I have a standards to follow, which is a mandatory in nature. I have guidance note to follow, which is recommended in nature. Catch the point. MCQ questions. Standards in auditing, mandatory in nature. Guidelines, guidance note given by the institute. It is a guidance note. Recommended in nature. It is not a mandatory. Recommended in nature. If you want, I will follow. There is no application in the examination. Auditor need to obtain audit evidence to verify management assertion regarding transaction, balance, and disclosure. What is the transaction? Profit and loss of account items. What is the balances? Balance sheet items. Disclosures, notes to accounts. Crystal clear. Crystal clear. Moving to the next phrase. Wonderful. Sufficient, appropriate audit evidence. I will say one thing, friends. Wherever you are writing audit evidence, standard number SA 500. Wherever you are writing evidence, you write as a sufficient, appropriate evidence. I can say one thing. Wherever writing your name, you write your complete name. I can say Suresh Kumar. I will never write my name Suresh. I will write Suresh Kumar only. Like that, when you are writing the evidence, audit evidence, write sufficient, appropriate audit evidence. Because it is linkage. You cannot separate it. What is sufficiency? Quantity. What is appropriateness? Relevance. Sufficiency and appropriateness of audit evidence is the professional judgment of auditor. Why? I will decide the sufficiency and appropriateness. Management cannot decide. Quantity of information, relevance of information, whatever. For example, classical example I will give. We have seen one transaction in the financial statements, rent paid 10,000, 12 transactions, 1,20,000 rupees. Now, what is the sufficient appropriate evidence? Appropriateness, I will tell. Regarding the rent paid, the relevance. What is the relevance? The rent paid should be belongs to or related to only a financial year. Previous year financial year, you cannot come and write in this financial year. Upcoming financial year can come and write this year. Relevance. I am relating that. Over. Yes, exactly for the 12 transactions I found only regarding this financial year. Appropriately done. Where is the evidence was? You are preparing so many financial statements. You are preparing tax audit. You are passing number of entries in the tally. Rent to rent payable, rent to rent payable, rent payable to bank to cash. Super. Total transactions over. Auditor comes and sits. Sir, okay, total transactions, wonderful. So, where is the evidence? Now I am going to decide the evidence. I am the auditor. You are the manager. You are given. So, evidence is the bank statement. I have remitted the rent. I will not agree. It may be related party transaction. I will not agree. That is not the sufficiency. This is not sufficient. This is not sufficient. Bank statement you are given. Agreed. Wonderful. You are complied with Income Tax Act. You are complied with the TDS on the rent paid. Super. This is not sufficient evidence for me. Sir, I will give a rental agreement. Oh, give me rental agreement. Super. Is it sufficient? I will not accept. Rental agreement क्या बोल रहा है? You are written owner name, you are written tenant name, and you prepare rental agreement and given to me. I will prepare so many rental agreement like that. This is also not sufficient evidence. Then I will go and ask, give me municipal tax receipt of the owner. I catch the point. Yes, he given. Then he has told about rental receipts. Where is the acknowledgement? Now he has given the municipal tax receipt to as a proof of owner. He has given the rental agreement to check the rent amount advance paid. Then he given the rental receipts, acknowledgements with revenue stamp. Then he has given the bank statement as a payment proof. This is called sufficiency. This is called sufficiency. What is appropriateness here? Financial area is appropriateness. He has given all these things. Rental agreement he has given. Please check it. Rental agreement he has given. Tax paid. Is it relevant? Not irrelevant. I will not accept. Sir, why you are telling rental agreement only municipal tax receipt and rental agreement and bank statement and one more thing rental receipts? My judgment. My judgment. I have satisfied. What is the auditing subject? Auditing and assurance. What is auditing? Systematic and independent examination of books of accounts with a view to give an opinion on financial statements, stating that whether financial statements are reflecting true and fair view or not. Over. Systematic and independent examination of books of accounts with a view to give an opinion on financial statement, stating whether financial statements are reflecting true and fair view or not. What is systematic? As per institute guidelines, standards. Please understand. Now, what is assurance? Auditing and assurance. Subject name is auditing and assurance. What is assurance? What is assurance? Assurance is nothing but very simple words. I can say satisfaction level of auditor. Sorry, if I satisfy, that is all. How the auditor can satisfy? It is a professional judgment. Now, Mr. Harshavardhan may satisfy when he has got relevant evidences. Maybe I may not be satisfied. I may be asking one more question regarding this. You give me title deed of the owner. Who is the real owner? You give me title deeds. I can give a lot of examples like that in this regarding sufficient appropriate evidence, but there is no time for us. Application examination, most frequently used phrase while writing, while performing audit procedures. Wherever you are requiring to write evidence, write as a sufficient appropriate evidence. Catch the point. Done. Done. Please impress the paper evaluator. You have only 3 hours time. Impress the paper evaluator. You can check your marks on the mark sheet 50, 55, 60, 65. Hope this phrase have been clear to all participants. Enquiry of management, those charged with the governance. Already told enquiry is nothing but asking questions. Where I can write this examination while performing audit procedures. So first of all, what is audit procedure? A procedure or a policy which I followed to get evidence is called audit procedure. How many types of audit is there? 2 types. Where it is given, go and read standard number 500. Go and read standard number 520. 2 types of procedures. Compliance procedure, substantive procedure. Why I am checking the substantive procedures, compliance procedures? Compliance procedure, I am going to check the internal controls of the organization, whether they complied with or not. Substantive procedures, I am going to check the transactions. When I'm going to check the transactions, when I'm going to check the internal controls of the organization, I may be doing a lot of inquiry with the management. Inquiry is nothing but I'm not using the word ENQIRY inquiry. I'm using the word INQIRY inquiry. Inquiry means asking a question to get some information. As for auditing exam is concerned, one place you are very safe, friends. You write on your own language, you will pass the exam. You write on institute to ask for the board material, you will get exemption. You mix both, you will get rank. Please understand. There is no parameter, no, someone is auditing language, don't write only. Who said? Only thing is whether key phrase you are written or not. Don't think my grammar is mistake, my present tense, future tense, past tense not matching. It will not match. It will not match. Please understand. Don't degrade yourself. Don't think in a negative way. Don't get panic. Go and write the exam in whatever the way you want. But only thing is presentation matters. Key phrase matters. Quoting of standard matters. I'm going to give the linkage also. Now where I can write this examination? One of the most commonly used phrase while performing audit procedures. So whenever I'm going to perform the audit procedure, especially risk assessment procedures or compliance procedures, substantive procedures, inquiry of management and those charged with the governance. If I don't inquire, they are not going to give. Next, risk of material misstatements. Divide it the word. The moment you are not able to understand any word in auditing, divide it. Risk, please keep aside. Material, keep aside. Misstatement, you know, statement means disclosure. Statement means disclosure. Misstatement means wrongly disclosed. Material mistake means it have a lot of impact. What is impact? It is influencing the decision making of users of financial statements. Then what is the risk? Risk is exposure. Now you read risk of material mistake. Though something which is going to impact the users of financial statements in a high way. How this can be happen? Always material misstatements will happen only because of two things: fraud and error. Or fraud or error. Always the material misstatements will be happen only because of two ways: fraud or error. So what is the meaning of this risk of material misstatements? What is the material significant? What is significant which have an impact? What is the impact which is going to change the decision making power of users? Please understand. Chalo, application and examination. Where should I write exams? So in for what question, for when I'm writing an answer, where should I consider this phrase? In all such questions dealing with factors to be considered. Wherever you're going to write risk factors, fraud factors, question may come fraud factors or risk factors, wherever you're going to write these phrases, always use as one of the point, because auditors' whole approach depend upon the analysis of risk material misstatements. First, what you are going to do? Well, the planning stage, go and read standard number essay 300. Go and read essay 315. Beautiful standard. Risk of material misstatements, understanding of the entity and its relevant business, everything given in 315. Go and read that. Divide the words. You will get a clarity. Then apply whether this concept I should read it from the auditor perspective or I should read from the management perspective. Yes, why auditing subject is difficult? Only thing is there is no clarity. Please understand, friends. I hope this is very clear to all. I am not explaining an auditing subject only for a revision purpose. I am telling few words. Whatever I am discussing now, maybe you can write in the what to say MCQ questions. Tuck answering. That's all. That's all. In 2 hours, you are able to know this much of subject, then understand how many days you are prepared for examination. Now, wonderful point. Without knowing this, many people passing exam. That is what my problem. Without knowing auditing, we will pass auditing subject. Without knowing articleship, we will complete articleship. Without knowing complete subject, we will pass CA. Then we will discuss. So, he is there in CA subject. Like that, this is one phrase where people will always ignore. Nature, okay, nature. Timing, okay, timing. Extent, okay, extent. Simply they will take. Many people who have attended, no, they'll call it as a long-term batch. What is long-term batch? 30 days batch. Short-term batch, 7 days batch. Super revision batch. Now they will call it a 2-3 days. We are doing super revision batch now. 2 hours, we are going to get lot of information. Please understand. Nature, timing, and extent of audit procedures. Most commonly used phrase in examination. First, let us understand nature means what? Procedures are to audit procedures, compliance procedure, substantive procedure. Now, what is the nature? What procedure I should follow? Type of procedure. Should I follow the substantive procedure or compliance procedure? Now tell me whether this nature, timing, and extent of procedure is a judgment of auditor or not. Purely a judgment of auditor. You cannot question me what nature, timing, and extent of procedure I am going to use. There are 2 auditors, myself and another person. I am going to use my own nature, time, and extent of procedures. Because what is the why I am using this professional judgment? Ultimate responsibility for the opinion expressed in the finance statements held with the auditor only. Where it is given, go and read the standard number, say 200. Go to conclusion of the standard, they given there. Beautiful. Because ultimately I am responsible, that's why I am using my professional judgment. Now, what is the nature? What type of procedure I should follow? Timing. When should I apply this procedure? At the beginning of the period, or at the during the audit, or at the end of the period? There are something I should apply at the end of the period procedures. What is the end of the period? Confirmation of balances. Standard number 505. I am going to apply something called external confirmation procedures. Should I get at the beginning of the audit? No. I am going to get at the end of the audit. I am going to just cross verify the balances. Extent how much? So should I go into depth or should I go on sample basis? Should I apply standard number 530 sampling? Decide. This is the phrase continuously reading audit. Nature, timing, and action. Nature means what? What type of procedure? When should I use the procedure? How much I should use the 100% application or sample application? Beautiful. You know audit procedures. Now, where should I apply this? Where I am going to get the audit procedure? Audit procedure you are going to apply only to get the evidences. You are auditor, boss. You are going to get the only evidences. To get the evidence, you are applying the procedures. That's why it is called audit procedures. Because you are auditor, you are applying the procedure. If management applies some procedure, it is called management procedures. Now, why I am applying this procedure? Audit evidence. To get the audit evidences. Now, when you are writing in the examination, audit procedures, you write this nature, timing, and extent of audit procedures. These procedures are used to obtain a sufficient appropriate evidence. Whenever you are writing in the examination as the evidence, you write as sufficient appropriate evidence. Whenever you are going to obtain these evidences, write down nature, timing, and extent of audit procedures applied by the auditor to get the evidences. Key phrase. Impress. Whatever you studied is not a matter now. Impress. Inherent limitation of audit. Where should I write this? This case study depend upon fraud when we need to defend the auditor. Unavoidable risk due to which we cannot give a guarantee. This is inherent limitation. I cannot give guarantee. So inherent limitation of audit is nothing but restriction to the auditor, where no, it is unavoidable. Even I am doing audit in a very clear way, in a very pakka way, there may be a possibility that so something goes wrong for which I am not answerable. So for a case study depend upon fraud when we need to defend the auditor. Then going with misstatement due to fraud or error. Already I have told, whenever you write misstatement in examination, misstatement due to fraud or error. That's all. Whenever you write misstatement, you should be happy to add in the examination whether due to fraud or error. It is a combined word. You cannot break it in examination. While reading, you can break it. In examination, you cannot break it. In examination, you need to concatenate. You should join these words. Now moving on to next important pages. Persuasive corroborative evidence. Persuasive is nothing but satisfactory, prima facie evidence. Material but not persuasive. So material evidence which is a significant but not impact major portion of financial statements. Next, coming into next area, other key phrases what you should write in examination. Already written, material misstatement, whenever you're writing an examination, whether due to a fraud or error, then you write something called, when you're writing about financial statement disclosure, write as per Schedule 3 to the Companies Act 2013 in examination. Then write something called evaluating the accounting system and internal controls. These are two words or concatenated words. You cannot break it. Accounting system, internal controls, evaluation by auditor. Auditor is not only evaluating the accounting system, is going to evaluate internal controls also. The reason you are applying two audit procedures in channel number 500, friends. What procedure? Compliance procedures regarding to internal controls. Substantive procedures regarding transactions. Then something called, whenever telling about something called financial reporting, call it as a fraudulent financial reporting. Then designing and performing substantive analytical procedures. When people are writing, performing audit procedures, don't write like that. Design done by the auditor only. It is not by management again. Designing and performing substantive analytical procedures. These are all you can write in examination, friends. Next, moving on to the other important areas. Very, very, very important phrases. Maybe you can use all these points when you're writing watching or verification for CA IPCC students, on the audit of financial statement items for CA inter students. Please remember for MCQ questions also, auditor will do the following only. Auditor will recommend, because you are maintain. Why this is only? Because you are independent person. Auditor will do following only. He will not do any other work. He will recommend to the management something. He will ascertain, examine, check, verify, ensure, inspect. These are the keywords you should write when you are answering your questions regarding watching, verification, audit of items of financial statements. I'll share all the materials with you, friends. Don't worry. Recommend. Then what auditor cannot do? Investigate. MCQ question. Follow. Shall I go and read MCQ questions? Investigate. You cannot do. This is a word. Follow. You cannot do. It's not your job. It is an internal auditor job. You are a statutory auditor. What is the fundamental assumption you should keep in mind when you're reading auditing subject, friends? What is the fundamental assumption you should keep in mind? Unless otherwise it is specified in the material, you are the statutory auditor. Fundamental assumption when you take up the auditing material for preparation or for understanding of subject, fundamental assumption is you are a statutory auditor. You are acting as a statutory auditor. Raja, don't handle my screen, Raja. Fundamental assumption. You are a statutory auditor. When you are a statutory auditor, you can do only the following things. Follow-up is not your job. Investigation is not your job. Investigation will be done by forensic auditors. So remember these words, and you can for one point you can write one in auditing watching questions, verification questions, audit of finance statements. You can write one phrase you can use for one bullet point. Make sure that you are writing exam in above language, particularly while attempting questions from watching and verification chapters. Beautiful. Beautiful. In the given time, you have done in an excellent way, friends. So next, moving on to this is what I wanted to cover for the CA intern and IP students.